Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this Sunday edition of the CBS Evening News from outside Buckingham Palace. Tonight, Queen Elizabeth II's final journey begins after her coffin was driven through the Scottish countryside from her summer home at Balmoral Castle to Holyroodhouse Palace in Edinburgh. Tens of thousands of mourners line the roads to pay their respects to their beloved Queen, the longest-serving monarch in British history. The Queen's state funeral will take place next Monday and will be the first in the United Kingdom in more than half a century, when Winston Churchill was given the honor in 1965. As proclamation events were held across the kingdom, we were here at Buckingham Palace when King Charles III arrived and appeared to become emotional as he was greeted by the public. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, and CBS's Elizabeth Palmer is in Edinburgh to start us off. Good evening, Elizabeth.
Good evening. President Biden confirmed today that he would attend Queen Elizabeth's funeral. Meanwhile, here in Scotland, the elaborate prelude has begun. The Queen's hearse left Balmoral, her private country estate, at 10 this morning. The coffin draped in the Scottish standard flag and bearing a wreath that included white heather and sweet peas, one of her favourites. The procession wound its way through the Scottish countryside, well-wishers lining the route, on horseback and even in tractors to say goodbye. Meanwhile, in the Scottish capital, Edinburgh, preparations were underway for the proclamation to officially recognise her son as the new king in Scotland.
Prince Charles Philip Arthur George is now, by the death of our late sovereign, happy of memory, become our only lawful and rightful liege lord, Charles III. God save the King!
By late afternoon, crowds packed the streets of the capital to pay their respects to Elizabeth. The Queen's cortege drove through the heart of Edinburgh, down the historic Royal Mile to the royal residence here, her first stop on the long journey back to London. She will spend 2 nights here among people connected to her as their sovereign and their countrywoman. Queen Elizabeth was descended from Scottish kings.
I think it's just important to be here, just important to say goodbye.
What was so remarkable about her?
Well, she started at a really young age and she did do a lot of impact, and now that she's going to be gone, it's going to be different. It's never going to be the same again.
Quite speechless, actually. She was a lovely lady. Great mother, grandmother, and she did well.
At Holyroodhouse, 3 of the Queen's children, Princess Anne and Princes Andrew and Edward, were waiting at the door as their mother arrived for the very last time. Tomorrow afternoon, the Queen's body will be brought to St. Giles's Cathedral behind me for a religious service and also to allow members of the public to file past the coffin. Norah?
Just incredible to witness it all. Elizabeth Palmer, thank you so much.